welcome back again. Like always, we'll check the audio. Come on, YouTube. Perfect. Right then. Whew, right, here we go. So yesterday we left off building this this kind of introduction section here, where we've got the 4 images, we've got the headline, and we've got a bit more text underneath, which is about the business. We also made this grid of 4 images, which seems to be working fine. So before we move on to the next section, I'm just actually going to upload some images into here and see how it looks with some real images in. So I've quickly exported them out of Figma, and it just normally calls them rectangles or frames or whatever, depending on how you do it. So I'm just going to drag all of them in, and then I can't remember which order. I think we did home, business, factory type thing. So I'll just go back to my design because I quite liked how we had them. And we can see here, if I zoom out a little bit, we've got the kitchen, bathroom, office, and factory. So we will do kitchen first in the first one. Yeah, that's good. I'll click on the handle for the next image. Why is that so hard to grab? I don't know. Bathroom. Office. And factory. Or warehouse. Cool. I didn't actually have that much gap between the images, but for now I'm not going to worry about that too much because it's going to kind of move around and do things anyway. And we can see we've got these. If we click on the column, if you can remember, we did this in a different way of using rows and columns. So these are kind of deciding where they want to be almost by themselves, and we control them using this. So we can, there we go, set that space around, and we get a slightly different layout by doing it like that as well. So we could play around with them and just find something that we're happy with. It actually quite looks quite nice as space around, so I'm just going to leave it as that. Update that. We can quickly click on preview changes, and yeah, there we go. We've got a nice block of images. That looks really happy with that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to leave all these little design elements that we need to put into last, and we're going to move to the next section. So I'm hoping today's going to be quite a quick one. We're going to build out this block of services on our page. And this, like I said, shouldn't take too long. So we've done this, we've still got some more things to add in. We've done this, we've still got some more things to add in, but we should actually be able to get this pretty much nailed in one. So yeah, I don't see this taking too long. So we're gonna just close our preview page and come back to the Elementor edit screen. We're gonna add a new section, and we're gonna do it as one column. And inside this, we need to start adding some text elements. And because I've already got some here that are exactly in the style that I want to use, I'm just going to duplicate them and use them. And this is actually getting in my way, so I'm just going to delete that and just get that out of the way for now. So I want this, so I'm going to right click on its handle and I'm going to click duplicate. And I want this beneath it as well, this text block. So I'm going to duplicate that too. And then I'm just going to click on it, hold it down, and you can see it lets me drag it around and move it into all sorts of different places. I'm just going to drag it into the new section that we just created. And I'm going to do the same with the text beneath it. Perfect. They're not right, but the text that we need is actually, I'm just going to go back and I'm going to copy it. So copy text. I'm just going to copy our services into there. And then I'm going to copy the little bit of text that underlines it, which is, here's a brief list of how we can help you. So we've got some kind of custom setting going on here. I'm actually going to disable that just in case later on it trips us up. So I'm going to come into positioning. I'm going to turn the custom width off. I'm just going to have it as default, which is going to fill the space that's available to it. And then all I want to do, which is exactly what this is doing, and then I'm just going to center align them both. So they both sit nicely in the middle of the page. Like that. Awesome. For some reason I don't think, it doesn't seem dark enough. Is it dark enough? Is it 42, 42, 42? No, it isn't. Let's just change that. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I'll have to update everything else, but like I said earlier, it doesn't really matter because we'll change the colours later. It just might affect us this bit because we've got a grey background. So that's actually going to be the next thing we do. So we're going to get our grey, which is 42, 42, 42, but it's only 10% opacity. So I'm going to click on this whole blue section that's surrounding all of this. And then when I've clicked on its handle, the middle one, which is the edit button, if I come into style, I can set a background colour just like we did when we were doing the hero section. But this time, instead of setting an image, I'm just going to click on classic. And I'm just going to click on colour. Then I'm going to do 42, 42, 42. And I'm just going to drag this down until it tells me 0F looks like 10 because we've got 12, 14. So I'm just going to leave it as 0F at the end, which I guess means 10. And we now have a background colour. We need some spacing as well. And it looks like our services to the top of the grey is 159 pixels at the top and 173 at the bottom. So I'm just going to set them both to 160. I like using nice round numbers where possible. So I'm going to set, and this time it has to be a padding, because padding lives inside the blue box, whereas if we set a margin, it lives outside. So I can give you an example of that. So if we give this some top padding of 160 pixels, you can see that the grey stays and it makes our grey section bigger. If I remove that and give us a margin of 160 pixels, if we just move that down a bit, we can see that actually nothing changes within our grey section. Everything changes outside of it. So we're going to leave our margin as it is, and we're going to set a padding top to 160 and a padding bottom to 160. It wasn't actually having the effect that I thought it would have, but you can see you can really clearly see the difference there between padding and margin. Padding lives inside the element that you're editing, and margin is the outer side of the element. So now we've got that done, I want to add some inner sections to our column. Now we've got one column, so I want to add 3 columns inside the one column. I'm just going back to my design. So we can see here, actually I need 4. So we've got 4 columns. Each thing's got an icon, a title and some text. Now I know that Elementor has a widget which is called like an icon widget, image box, icon box, and it lets you have an icon. I think it lets you have a title and some text, and this will do us perfectly. We can override you get a certain amount of icons with it, but you can override them with your own icons as well, which is perfect, because I doubt there is a pipe or a tap or whatever we have. And if we ever went into making some custom icons, we can upload them as well. That's probably outside of the scope of what we're going to do in this video, but we can do it. I'm just trying to think of here what might be the best way to do this, because I don't want to limit us too much. So I'm going to add an image section. And you can see though, it's given us 2 columns. So not an image section, an inner section. So I'm going to add a new column and then add a new column again. So we've got 4 columns, and I'm just going to grab this widget and drag it inside the first. And then I can duplicate it and just drag it inside the next, or I can actually just delete these columns and now just duplicate the columns. It's usually a better way to do it. And then we've got 4 there, and then all we have to do is duplicate that, and we've got 4 beneath it. And that is virtually our section made. The text looks right, it's using the right fonts, it's obviously the wrong colour, but we haven't set a colour, so that's not really worrying about that too much. Let's go back to our design and see what does need to be changed though. So if we just full screen that, so it's actually using 16px text. Our H3 style is 28, so we need to check that. And then the colours look probably like 42, 42, 42, and we can set the sizing of this icon correctly, and maybe we'll upload that as well. We'll see if it's available. So let's change some of the colours first. So do we have 42, 42, 42 set up? No. Right. So 42, 42, 42. Let's also click on the handle again and come into style, and I bet if we click on content we can access the text. So everything's centre aligned, which is perfect. We can look at the spacing, but we do need to do 42, 42, 42 a few more times first. It's good, and we're going to do it to the text as well. Title, description, so this is the description. And then we're just going to come in here, and we're going to change this to 16, and it's going to make it probably smaller than I wanted to actually. But we're going to go with it for now. We're going to go with it for now. And then we can always make changes later on. Where's my design gone? Here we are. Oh, it's actually Poppins. That's interesting. I wonder if I've done that by accident. That's Poppins as well. No wonder this looks different to what I thought. Why have I used the wrong text? That's weird. Right, that's fine. That's an easy fix actually. So I thought it looked like a little bit different, and I couldn't work out why. So we're just going to change this to Poppins now, because that probably will make it a bit bigger. Yes, there we go. That's better. Awesome. And let's see if we can change that icon as well. We have to come back to content for this to change the icon. Tap. No, we've got tape. Fill drip. No. Screwdriver? Yeah, it looks a bit cheesy. So I can, oh, is it going to let me do it? Right, okay. So I'll just show you what I did there. So I'm going to hover over the icon image and click upload SVG. It's going to ask you if you want to enable SVG uploads, which we do. But by default, WordPress doesn't let you. So Elementor just gives you that warning just to let you know that you could be doing something a little bit unsafe here. But this is fine because we want to do that. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to export that as an SVG. And we use SVG because it's a really small file size, which is made for the web because it scales up and down without losing quality. So we can have it as big as we want or as small as we want, and it's going to look great like it does there. That's great. So the last thing I want to do is just check the size of that. And it looks like it's 32 by 30, 30 by 32 high. So we can probably jump back into our page and just come on to style. You can see here we've got the icon, and we could actually probably just set this to 30. Yeah, that's fine. And I just need to check the size of this. Content, typography, set that to 24. That looks good. And then it's just the spacing between all these three elements now. So if we come back to our design, we can actually look at what the spacing is. So repairs to the icon is 21 and 14, so 15, so 20 and then 15. Again, nice round numbers to keep it simple. So title spacing, so we know we need that at 15, so we're going to set that to 15. And then maybe we can do icon spacing here. We're just going to increase that to 20. And that is just about perfect, I would say. So if we change that to servicing, that should look very similar to what we've got on the Figma design. If we just zoom out, that, it's not quite there, it's close enough for now. It's close enough. If anything, maybe just like to slightly increase the size of this title font. It's 26. I think that's quite nice. And then all I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to delete these columns again. And I'm going to duplicate that, duplicate that, duplicate that. And I'm actually going to delete this row, and I'm just going to duplicate that. And we've got everything there that we need. All I need to do is just check the spacing between the two rows. So again, come back to Figma, we've got quite a lot of spacing. Also, I want to check the spacing between these two as well. That's 40 pixels, so that's important. And then it's 45. So 45 between the rows and 40 between the columns. So that's the last thing that we'll do. So if we go back to our design, in Elementor, you can set the gap between the items in a column or in a row. Let's see if we can do it. Yeah, columns gap here. And you can set custom and we can set pixels. So we need this at 40, I think. So is that giving us 40 on each side? So it actually needs to be 20. That looks about right. So we'll set that to 20. So if I ever get stuck, what I like to do is and this is a Mac only trick unfortunately, I go into screenshot mode and then I kind of just press down and I can see there that actually it is about 40 that it's giving me, so that's about right. So it's actually 20 on each side. And then on this one, I need to change that to 45. So all I'm going to do there is I'm just going to add some margin top, or we could do margin bottom with the other one. So we'll go on that, we'll just add a bit of margin top and we'll give it, I think it was 45. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we're done. And that's our services built. That's as simple as it is for that section, without the colours obviously that will come later, and the content, which is the big bits for them. That's really, really quickly how to do a services section. The only thing I didn't check is any of the gaps there, so we'll quickly do that. So make sure we've got everything. So between them two is 11, and that one to that one is 85. So maybe we need to just add some margin bottom or some margin top. So that's probably a bit too much. So but we'll leave that as it is because it's not really causing too much harm. And we'll set the margin bottom on this one to 80. We've got a nice bit of space there. So if we come back over here and we look at our page now, we've got our middle section and we've got our services all built out. So I'm really happy with how that's coming together now actually. It's starting to look nice, and when we get some actual real colours on there, I think it'll really make it nice and actually get the menu and all the other bits and bobs and the little design features and everything else. It'll really bring it together, I think. So yeah, that's us for today. That's really fast, really quickly how to build an our services section for your website. And I don't know how much more we've got to do. Let's have a look. We've got this one, that one won't take long either. Then we've got this one and this one. So yeah, hopefully by the end of the week we'll have this wrapped up. We can get started with the next one. Nice one. Thanks for tuning in. Hope this was useful for you, and we'll be back tomorrow for the next section. So we'll see you then. Thank you.